team. They proved that in Charlotte. Can they do it again here in Atlanta? It's DarkZero! Any Canadian fans in the building? Troy, last time you and I stood in front of a camera on a stage in front of all the bright lights, it was in Charlotte, and it was moments before you raised the trophy. You glance over your left shoulder there and you see another one. You want that in front of your home crowd, right?
I most certainly do.
Tell me about your experience. Couple of new members on this roster. How much would it mean to you, and how much do you want to guide some of the newer faces to experience that success on home soil that you've already had?
I mean, we've been putting in the work, and I know the most rewarding feeling in the world is coming up here and earning that trophy. And I not only want to experience that again for myself, but I want these other guys to experience it as well. So we're gonna come in here and we're gonna fucking earn it.
When life moves quick, right? Before you know it, you're back on a stage in front of your home supporters. How much do you soak in these moments where you've got such an electric crowd pushing you forward, hoping for the best?
I cherish it every time. I mean, like, it's literally a dream come true. This is the most special thing to do in the world for me. I literally live to do this. I love coming up here and competing. I'm the same way as you guys when I'm watching games. I'm getting hype, I'm screaming, I love it. And like, the fact that I can feel it in you guys while I'm up here playing, it's something special and it's something I cherish and I want to enjoy every last second of it.
All right, man, good luck. Go and take your seat with the rest of your roster. All right. Now then, when you have the big stage, the bright lights, and the large live crowd, you need the best cameraman in the business. Fully focused on their next target. It's loose! Standing by with Lobin. Now, Lobin, you are an incredible player. I know you're having a fantastic time personally in this tournament. Now, you were just stood waiting to come down here and you heard this home crowd support for your opposition. How does that make you feel?
I feel pretty good. You know, to get to a stage for the first time is always a good feeling, but have the entire crowd against me is just even better feeling. I can make everyone here become a library. So it's better.
Oh, you mean you're gonna make them all quiet, right?
Yeah, of course.
You hear that, Atlanta? He's gonna shut you up. He's gonna shut you up. No, I'm here for that confidence, man. I'm here for it. You've got some big players on your team, cameraman being one of the, most legendary figures on your roster. How much do you think his experience will play a part in you potentially getting the win here?
I think he's like one of the best players Brazil have ever seen. Like, he's the best IGL I've worked with. So the experience he has and the different ideas he just brought to us, it just like makes a difference to win type of match and type of measure and anywhere.
So much riding on this result. Obviously, another step towards this trophy, and it's a beautiful one, isn't it? And of course, SI qualification. If you get the win here, you get to play at SI in your home country. There's a lot riding on this result.
Yeah, but we already made more than anyone thought we could do. We came for LCQ, So we're just gonna have fun, play our game, and yeah, hope to see the best who wins. Yeah.
And you're pretty certain this is going to be a library in here, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right. Well, best of luck. Go and join the rest of your roster. One thing's for sure, this crowd is going to be loud. And he's getting booed. He's getting booed. Love it. All right, let's get into our third quarterfinal of the day. Lynx and Stokes. I can't wait to hear these guys call all the action.
537 days ago, DarkZero lifted the trophy in Charlotte, North Carolina. And today they are looking to box Los out of SI and maybe, just maybe, take a similar step and repeat that journey oh so long ago.
Absolutely, my friend. DarkZero stand on the precipice of eliminating BDS from the biggest tournament of the entire year. Los has a lot on their shoulders already. They're in front of this beautiful North American crowd, first of all, and they have to deal with none other than DarkZero in order to punch their own ticket to the 6 Invitational.
I mean, for this crowd, they're obviously against Los. We know what side they're on. They're on Canadian side. They're on DarkZero's side. But for every villain, they are a hero in their own story. Los need to win this best of 3 if they want to make it to SI on home soil in Sao Paulo. For DarkZero, of course this matters to get another North American major trophy. But for Los, this game has never been more important.
No, and there's a lot of history between these two rosters, especially when Los was Team 1, as we touched on the desk. 3 of these players have been eliminated by DarkZero before, and not only that, but Canadian and Cameraman have a very long and tenured history of them going back and forth at events. There's a lot riding on the line with this matchup.
And 2 of the most experienced, tenured leaders you could possibly have in Rainbow Six, who have been around from the very beginning to lead their squads to victory. Canadian certainly has a lot of success recently. We've seen the level of play he can have, but as Loban said, not a lot of us thought, me especially, thought Los could make it this far, could make it to main stage, but more importantly, bounce back from such a poor start in the Brazilian League. The fact that they are here alone is impressive, but you heard Loban, you heard that the negative energy, the crowd being against him, is fueling their play, and with how scary of a player he's been in this tournament, DarkZero might have one of the fiercest opponents they've faced.
Yeah, not only do they have to worry about Loban, who has been going nucleosis this entire event, a 22-8 split on his entry game, but you also have Maya at the very top of the heap with a 1.28 rating. And across the board, yeah, DarkZero, they've been able to get these wins under their belt, Carter, but you still have to worry about things. Pambazoo, a little top-heavy when it comes to these ratings, but we know how nitty-gritty and how hard DarkZero can be about these kind of rounds.
They are. I mean, for both of these teams, every victory they had in the Swiss stage needed at least 12 rounds to win. DarkZero especially. I think all of us who watched those games were feeling some heart problems by the end, worried if they were able to bring it over the line, especially that bleed game. So narrowly bringing it back in round 12 to inevitably win it. This team has never made it easy for us in Atlanta, in Charlotte, in every event in between. DarkZero have always kept things down to the wire, but they're so clinical when it matters.
Yeah, and a lot different roster here for this major as well for Canadian. At the last Charlotte major, he still had some veterans placed around him, and yes, some of these players have got some tenure with this roster now, but we don't consider them old heads just yet,
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So it's Canadian with some younger guns up against some very vetted Brazilian players. I mean, Carter, I'm so excited.
It's hard to get a better match than this in the quarters. I mean, we saw G2 BDS, of course, 2 Titans meeting early on in the tournament. But for DarkZero, back on American soil, needing to lift that major trophy just one more time to join the ranks of, well, nobody to become a 2-time major champion. That would certainly be a story to write.
Absolutely, and they might have the roster to do it. I mean, you look across the entirety of DZ, you look across Los, there's a lot of players with a lot of fire in their bellies, and I mean, we all know about Canadian. Do we have some Canadian fans in the house?
Hold on. Let's be polite.
Okay.
Are there any cameraman fans in the house?
You just had to ask.
You can't. That's not a question you can boo to.
I think it is. They just did.
I suppose. Fair enough.
It's a fair answer. It's a fair answer. And cameraman, he wants all the smoke, and so does Lobbin. As this squad, as I said, they're going to make it a library in here, folks. But North America, we got a lot of energy when it comes to stuff like this, especially supporting our own. We're just moments away from getting into this game, folks, as Los go into their player huddle for the last time here before we start map 1.
Every break after this, every mental reset, you only get one of those a map. So take this time, experience this moment, because right now, depending on how this goes, this might be the best time Los have, but by the same token, DarkZero, they can perform, we know they can, but with how close they keep these games, if players like Loban and Maya have a day to remember in their careers, DarkZero will very much have such a difficult opponent to fight. If you thought Bleed was tough, with turd stuff popping off, if Maya and Loban are both showing up in the server, you haven't seen anything yet.
No, absolutely not. I know we have a lot of DarkZero fans in the crowd, but we have some even bigger fans back in the team player lounge right now as BDS is hoping, praying, folks, that DarkZero can take this victory. Something that, honestly, at the beginning of the year, if you told me, Stokes, BDS is going to have to rely on Canadian, of all people, to make SI, I would have called you a liar. It's some crazy stuff what we've gotten to, folks, but this is Rainbow Six Esports at its finest. And Carter, here we go.
Chalet map 1, Skyscraper map 2. Who will win, who will lose? There's only one thing we have to ask. There's only one thing we need to be safe, Sam. Atlanta, could you just humor me for a second? Are you ready? Map 1 begins, everyone. Chalet to start the series. You saw just a few minutes ago, well, maybe more than a few minutes, but you saw G2 and BDS in a very, very dominant game for G2, but one that still had plenty of excitement, plenty of clutches. Sam, do you think we're in for a similar story from Los?
Oh, we're in for so much fun between these two squads, my friend. There is nothing better than Canadian, especially in front of a crowd that adores him. This man, along with this roster, is going to be a sight to behold, but that doesn't mean that Los is any slouch. As we were touching on, Loban as well as Maya have been having a career event here in Atlanta. So, as it goes, Chalet should be one for the history books.
Not for the op bans, at least. To start out, it's very similar fare. DarkZero have been perma-banning Dokkaebi this entire tournament. The Ying Valkyrie follow-up. You could basically remove any team from that top right, and you could think those were their bans. Same with the Zami. DarkZero are not looking to shift things up on their opponent's map pick of Chalet. Dokkaebi is Zami. This is as DarkZero as a ban phase as you could feasibly get. And starting out on the defense as well, taking out that Dokkaebi should make holding that top floor just a little bit easier. Does leave the mirror up, of course, though, Sam, and we do know how DarkZero love to play around those structured positions.
Yes, most definitely. They're going to start downstairs, though, which is always a solid consideration when it comes to Chalet. A lot of teams not really liking that top floor bomb site any longer. We see a lot of basement, we see a lot of bar and game, but most teams starting to work in that kitchen just a little bit more, but we'll have to see what DarkZero wants to do down the line. This is only going to be round 1, and they have some very solid considerations when it comes to these op choices, including that mirror that you were talking about, who plays into the basement fantastically.
Plays on a Chalet fantastically. She's so good on most maps in the pool, but on this one in particular, able to shut down almost entirely a plant from the snowmobile side. Bringing those mirror windows, especially when the Azami is off the board, is often a necessary ask for a defense. Same with roaming on basement, holding down this dining position, making sure that that hatch is secured for a good portion of the round to stop Los from moving it and getting a wine plan. But you're talking about op considerations. Los is certainly looking to reset the pace quickly.
Immediate EE1D from Cameraman to try and slow down some of these odds and ends that DarkZero are trying to tie up, but perhaps unbeknownst to Los, this is actually the entire game plan for them. They're going to extend up to the north side of things and start looking towards kitchen as well as some other things to be able to hold down the majority of this map. You can see those couple of silhouettes through. Loban might actually have an opportunity already, and he's found himself a Gavini.
That's 23 and 8 now, everyone. The entry player to be feared on Los has gained the map control early. Dot sprints on into Wine and has cut open the bomb site. Once the dining extension is clear, Dots immediately goes for the plant. Pamazu has to retake, but Loben shuts him down. If you were worried about the star players from Los, well, round one has already put you in a very bad position. Rice now in a 1v4 with diffuser planted and all the post-plant angles from Los held. DarkZero given no quarter to start Chalet.
What the hell was that out of Los? They just attacked the heart of the problem, Carter. They don't deal with all of these high-flying maneuvers from DarkZero. Yeah, they want to hold kitchen. Yeah, they want to hold library, but it doesn't matter if Los is able to bully out all of your site players and very easily get that plant down. Well thought out there from Los, as they don't want to deal with DarkZero's antics.
Now, for all you DarkZero fans, don't start worrying too much. If you've watched their games closely, they often drop those first 2-3 rounds. They very much feel out their opponent, and then they start to fix their mistakes, to pick things up, and adapt to the attacks they're bringing. Los's chaos, that energy that they bring, of course, can certainly trip it up. But DarkZero often need a few rounds to really settle into the series, and then they start playing.
That's one of the craziest stats that I've seen throughout this entire tournament, is exactly what you're talking about. DarkZero's first 1 through 3 rounds, they only have about a 44% win rate. But post that, they have around a 53% win rate, which is just a massive difference in percentage. So don't be sweating too much just yet, folks. There's going to be some adaptations coming in here, although Los with a fantastic start.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the bomb.
Dots again playing operator roulette. Blitz round 1, Glaz round 2. Looking to switch things up and always keep DarkZero on their toes. The Glaz, of course, you need to be careful when you're defending this kitchen dining bomb site. If Los go to open up the dining wall and move for a plant behind the table, they can just smoke off that angle and have Dots sit all the way back on fireplace stairs, making it a pain for anybody from the defense to retake on that middle floor.
Yes, most definitely. Saw a little bit in that last matchup. Trying to hold some of those longer angles over towards the fireplace side and through kitchen and things along those lines, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to try and battle back, especially with this mirror window in place. But as soon as I say that, cameraman with a sneaky Twitch drone will work his way in and get rid of the mirror window.
Utility clear on the solar side. Loben sends it in. Dots instead using it for cover to allow Loben to progress forward. NGR removes Maya off the board, but Los are not on the back foot long. Quickly reclaim that man advantage, but Pamazu brings us back down to earth. 3v3, but at the cost of a lot of his HP. The blessing for the defense, though, is they have control of that top floor, but the curse in disguise. Los have moved into the bomb site. Dash with the diffuser down below, but they aren't moving just yet.
They're worried about this potential DarkZero play on the top floor, and why wouldn't you be? Rice is here. He's home. Pamazu's going to find Dots. That's going to get dashed off of the case, but he immediately fries Rice as he's trying to find a new home for this. Gavini still has the verticality. This gets really worrisome, especially now as he tries to solve the puzzle. But he's going to be farther back here. The ping doesn't work out for him. He can't find him, and Loben with a beautiful shot on a Gav.
2 post plants now in a row for Los, and well, they needed to fight tooth and nail for an advantage in this round. Once they gained it, DarkZero's retake has faltered completely. Pamazu, still wounded from that gunfight earlier, has 2 different tangos to fight downstairs in kitchen dining. And what is he to do with only 1 Z-ping for intel? He knows someone is trophy. He's got his exact position marked out. There's running out of time. Not a lot of room to work to clutch this 1v2. 2 in a row now for Los. This is where we need to start to see DarkZero hitting the recovery.
Lynx, we got Los with the hair trigger right now. They are not worried about this timer. In fact, they are quickly trying to get their goals figured out throughout the round, achieve those, and then execute directly into sight. And they are battering and bruising DarkZero right now. Yeah, there's a couple considerations from DZ on this defensive side, but Los are taking a bat to them.
Los have just found an opening in every single site we've seen so far, in basement, in kitchen dining, and then they've weaved their way in and worked the rest of the attack around it. Wait to see when they spot that gap and then mold the attacking strategy for how they can best widen it even further. Defense on Chalet is always a difficult beast to wrangle. But if you're a DarkZero fan and you see how quickly Los have taken control of the bomb site, you want to see some adjustments made on those anchor positions, especially as we move to bar and games.
Yes, most definitely. DarkZero have got to start getting some more considerable moments under their belt in these rounds. Yes, Chalet defense is difficult. Really, at the end of the day, you're looking for probably 2 rounds, but neither one of these rounds has really looked like they even had a snowball's chance in hell.
Attackers are moving to the bomb.
Oh, dots again on a new operator. To the Monty now to force control away from DarkZero, just to push forth onto the attack. To keep the defense at bay for wherever they decide to push. Those started Solar side last round, and there are a lot of options they could go for bar and games. They could start over there, and I have to imagine with the Monty, they will want to clear from Solar side over. Make use of that extended shield to keep the defense pressed on the library side and not give them any room to maneuver once these nades from players like Loben start flying into the building.
Now, Lawson have a great operator lineup to start trying to lock down a lot of these stairwells, especially with things like Dash and those track stingers that could start being utilized here on a moment's notice. Los are looking to try and take control of the top floor. That's why we see them breaking things up at the balcony, starting to get people in. Maya's here to assist that clear as he'll swing on through. He's found himself a Gavini, and that's going to be the first kill going his way, but DarkZero finally end up on the top of the heap.
The Crossfires helping out as Los very narrowly got the exact opening. They've achieved 3 rounds in a row. A clean lurk into an opening pick, or at least a man advantage. This time, Rice is able to keep things even for DarkZero. Canadian down below, sending intel to the rest of the team, but Rice turns his back, allows Dots to unshield and bring it back to that 3v3. There's still Panmazoo on the roam, but with him and Canadian down below, the site is looking mighty empty, but Panmazoo still holds the top floor. Loben looking to recreate Maya's success, cut down on the office door.
They can't even pressure too far either because NJR is back in bar stock. Yeah, Dots has a shield in front of his face, but he won't have the ability to plant here. He's going to need some more help, but that verticality works its way back in, and DarkZero get their first round.
All of that comes down to that duo roam on the top floor. If they do not have Panmazoo, or Rice for that matter, holding a Crossfire onto that piano position, that very likely could be an advantage gain for Los. But instead, they know what they need to look out for. They know once Los start to move on in, if they have Rice and Panmazoo both trained on that position, once Gavini goes down, they can make it a 4v4 or a 4v3. That's how they regain that advantage, and while Los fight back, ultimately, it is that roam that really saved the round for DarkZero.
Yes, most definitely, and it's really up to the fact that DarkZero is a lot more active on the roam, trying to assist each other with these things. Panmazoo also with some fantastic finds inside of this round. He's already got 5 kills through 3 for DarkZero, showcasing just why he's at the top of this pile. That rating really singing true.
We talked about people we can't quite call old faces yet, and it's still weird to think that Panmazoo NGR have been on this roster for 2 years now. It feels like yesterday when Panmazoo got brought up all the way back in 2021, but ever since he was brought the starting roster for DarkZero, he has had such an impact every stage, always at the fight, always at the top of the rating leaderboard for this team. Such a powerful entry player and such a powerful roamer as well for DarkZero.
And you would never expect, especially with, you know, just Panmazoo's demeanor. He's usually the quiet, calm guy. You really don't get too much out of him, but he's an absolute demon when it comes to Rainbow Six Siege. Los is going to shift their lineup a bit, and they're also going to get a nice kill onto Pamba. Little caster's curse there, so sorry, folks, but that's okay. Los is going to have a very solid lineup to try and take control of fire and break up this flooring, making things a little bit difficult to play around line.
Can certainly do it with that ram, especially now that top floor control has been cleared. The main player for DarkZero, who's been competing, at least in the kill department on this roster, is now down. NGR Rice certainly have some. Panmazoo leading the way. Difficult spot now for DarkZero to find themselves in. Oh, Canadian actually all the way up top might just give them an opportunity to fight back, but Los haven't even entered the building to get both of these kills. Panmazoo and Canadian, the Legion and the Jaeger just rotate in front of windows, and now Gavini might try for an ill-advised third attempt.
Using this utility to his fullest advantage, and Gavini, he's gonna want that one back, y'all. Loben almost had his head clean taken off there. Instead, he's going to be allowed to exist on this top floor. It's going to make things a little bit easier for him, looking to see if he can possibly get control over that hatch that's over inside of kitchen. Well, they got a reinforcement on that or what have you, but either way, his main focal point is going to be the fireplace flooring, especially for those boogie drones.
The 5v3 constantly looming over DarkZero. Make that a 5v4 as NJR runs outside to confirm the kill on the Thermite. He knows what was awaiting for him. He knows the power of that pick if he can land it. 2 pocket reinforcements for DarkZero as well. They might just be able to rotate back into Wine depending on their setup and then completely shut Los out of that side of the bomb site.
Attackers recover.
Is going to be able to at least recover the case here. 4 versus 3, but the timer starting to eat at them, and Rice with a nice find. He'll take down Cameraman, who was trying to work the blue stairs, but dead to rights. With only 45 seconds remaining, Lost do have control over Garage, at least vertical-wise, but they don't actually have the bodies removed out of here. That's all up to Gav now, as he's tucked himself into the corner, where we see Shaiko play a lot on this basement site. It's so very important for moments like this.
Especially as Dash looks to regain the momentum achieved earlier in the round. They let it slip away, let the pace die down. But now they know he's here. The gunshots and the barbed wire indicate it. Loban opens it back up, though. They still have the hole inside of Wine. They've got the site control as well. Rice can't even fight back. They fight for that 3v3, but then it all dies by the end. Los move up 3-1 on their attack.
Los readdressing things, and DarkZero a little bit of an overcommitment. They each have their own isolated one-on-one, but it all goes to the wayside as Los with some really big wins there and another round under their belt. That's going to proc a DarkZero timeout as Gav and Canadian both don't have a single kill to their names.
And more importantly, Pambazu with 0 kills in that round, found so early on such a basic angle. If you're clearing out that top floor, the most powerful, or one of the most powerful places you can sit is on that bedroom window, because it cuts the master bedroom and office side entirely in half. Nobody can rotate across there for free, whether you're bathroom side or bedroom side. And once he's found there is not that star power for DarkZero to rely on. Credit where credit's due, NJR, especially finding that find on the Thermite inside of Trench. But beyond that, Los, even though they let that advantage slip, they quickly realized what was happening and moved into Wine to regain round 4.
Very difficult there, especially that window play like you were saying. That's one of the main things that happens right off spawn, right? You shoot that open, and it's just kind of a 50-50 if somebody's actively there. Very unfortunate for Pambazu as he tries to cross to the bathroom in that scenario. But you expect the rest of your roster to at least be able to try and pick up the pieces, right? And that's been really the issue for DarkZero, is that the heart and soul of the squad isn't there right now. You can't just have 3 people getting these big moments. So DarkZero, they use their timeout a little early here, but a very smart call from Mint.
Especially if they can run up the scoreboard on those defenses. DarkZero definitely one of the better attacking teams we have so far. So if they can get that 2-4 or even a 3-3 if they win these next 2 rounds in a row, that is an excellent spot to set yourself up in, moving into the side swap once you hit round 7 and move to that attacking side. After a bit of an office, though, this is sometimes a difficult site to defend. You're so restricted as a defender. You either, if you want to move off the site, have to defend library or defend dining down below, just to supplement the little control you have just by holding master bedroom and office. See how Los decide to fight it, as they have a whole bunch of utility that can be used pretty much any way DarkZero want to defend this.
This should be a very slow rolling offense in comparison to what Los has been doing. We might have some early action, but we're looking to see these Flores drones used to their fullest advantage, especially with some bulletproofs in play. You have some frost mats as well as some Jaegers to get rid of too. So a lot of things that he can line up to try and get rid of. As for the rest of the lineup, very solid when it comes to the idea of what you want to try and accomplish on a map like Chalet.
Loban creeping his way through the map, as we've seen plenty of times at this point. 2 track stingers dedicated to shutting down the fireplace stairs. That's entirely to make sure that once they move to open up the office wall later in the round, the player hitting that flank cannot achieve it with the same ease they would if those stairs were unobstructed. A lot of communication in the Los ranks right now. Loban opens up the door, and Gavini on library stairs has made his position known. He'll creep down further into the basement, and Loban, using his remaining 2 track stingers, will shut off that flank as well.
Really smart, honestly. The 2 stairwells that are going to be the biggest issue for them, they double track Stinger. That means that they're going to have to try and either give over both of their impacts, if it's roamer with impacts, or they're going to have to do a lot of cleanup with their sweeper being that primary weapon. Frag out here for Loban, trying to clear things out around Piano. Los looking to try and bully everyone back and try and find an office plan here.
They want that dash, need some success on that window. Dots
Dots
now moving in to put the bomb down. Is anybody from DarkZero reacting? There's not even a little bit of action despite the intel through the floor. It forces Dots off. Canadian downs him from 2 floors below. Case now dropped cold inside of the bomb site, but it's still Los with the advantage, and one even widen further. Canadian and Rice fodder for the weapons of Los, but Panbazoo, a quick double. The pre-fire on piano window has shot DarkZero back in round 5.
It's a 2 versus 2, all off of Panbazoo's efforts. A single MP5K and a 1.5. That's all you need, folks. It'll open the door here for DarkZero. I don't think that one was in the strategy book, but it doesn't matter. Panbazoo. Only cameraman remains now. A round that looked like it was all Los's, but it's all Los's to lose. To work his way into piano. There's 2 targets that he has to try and find. Case be damned. It's a frost match. And Panbazoo's gonna bag and tag cameraman for round 5.
The conquered around the arena, nothing like that frost mat sound. The death knell for Los in a round that seemed like such a layup.
You gotta pay the man, dude. You gotta pay the man. Panbazoo is putting all of DarkZero on his shoulders right now.
Just ridiculous performance from Panbazoo in that round, and even though it didn't work, the big part of that play that inevitably stopped that plan in the first place was Canadian down below on that Solus. This is one of his favorite operators to play. It gives him flexibility to find the holes on their defense, find where they're most vulnerable, or more importantly, where a bomb could go down with a team that so far this match has been very plant-focused. And once he sees it from 2 floors below, he relays the information to the rest of his team. So while Panbazoo got that huge multi-kill and ultimately sealed the round for DarkZero, that initial thwarting of Los's plan was Canadian down below doing it.
Just goes to show you how dynamic of a player Canadian is. He's been doing this for years with the likes of Pulse, especially in these very deep roams. There's only 2 ops in the whole game that can abuse a positioning like that, and Solus is the other. Not a single person considered that Canadian could have any play over the man on that top floor from Garage of all places, Carter. But not only does he get him off with an impact, he finds him with a well-vetted shot randomly through the floor, knowing that man had to move off plant. Well done from DarkZero across the board strategically, as well as a huge moment for Panbazoo in his career.
Also a great recovery as DarkZero was starting to lose the plot for this defensive half, but if they can just win this one, they'll tie things up. Please a lot of the DarkZero fans in the audience. Maya again looking for a quick entry into Chalet, but for DarkZero, all of their defenders are slotted bar and game side, either on the second floor or the basement. They're all restricted to that part of the map at the moment.
It's so very important that you hold onto library for an extended period of time. This will hold up the plant on the game's window, and that's really what you're looking to do. Gavini's gonna have to try and survive a lot of different things here. Fortunately enough, Los does not have the Capitao, so it's more than likely going to be grenades, but y'all see it. It's the EMP out. It's gonna get rid of the ADSs. The Jaeger runs away, but the frag grenade will not find him. Gav with fantastic timing as he works his way off. They'll more than likely have to re-drone this to make sure that things are clear.
Minute 15 though, not bad time wasted by Gavini. Especially if you got to keep your life by the end of it. He's more than happy with that. There's still the defensive setup for DarkZero, but they actually quickly give it up. Rice vaults over the mezzanine position. Though a lot of exit damage done to Dash. Moving around the dining position, Canadian's the one that finds him. Los were trying to apply some release pressure or find a new angle for their attack, but Canadian stops that down below. But the attack with a minute 15 left has full control of the top floor.
It seems as though basement is his domain. DarkZero, they've gotten things done for this site. This is exactly what you want. Under a minute and a half, they've gotten the initial pick, but Cameraman will fight back onto Gavini. A lot of this verticality is going to be paramount to Los's success, trying to dwindle down the locations that DarkZero can play without having a couple of people trying to take their life.
That's what they need to consider, what positions. Canadian down below, one player on lower library stairs. Dots moves in with the case, needs to dismantle that stock position. Instead, they've got the coverage up above, but NJR's cut down Maya. Do they know? Los so close to a plant before, but Los find one. Loban takes down Rice, but the plan is stopped. DarkZero have won that at least. Cameraman now has to move into the bomb site to recover it. or send that task to Loben. But either way, one player will only have one gun left if that bomb starts going down. Smoke targets cameraman's position. DarkZero are giving him nothing on these library stairs. A 3-3 half for DarkZero. They fight back after the timeout.
What an insane moment from DarkZero. But you have to give the flowers to Mint, don't you? What a timeout from him. He resets the whole team, but let's talk about it for a second. It was Canadian and Pambazoo that lit a fire under this team. Canadian with the oop and Pambazoo with the dunk like LeBron James inside of that round on the top floor. And it's lit an entire crowd. This is the loudest they've been the entire time. We're gonna switch sides now as DarkZero will be taking over the offensive end of things, usually known as the easier side of Chalet.
That's the worry Los have right now, is they've let DarkZero now go to their preferred side overall, but also a very, very strong side on Chalet. They've let them regain the momentum. They've let them reset themselves. DarkZero might not have a tactical timeout, but if they can start off this round or the next with some solid victories, Los are in for big trouble on their map pick.
A lot of energy out of you, guy. A lot of energy out of you.
He seems excited.
Yeah, I would say so, just a little bit. I mean, how couldn't you be, especially after Pambazoo dropped 10 damn kills, folks, on one half. You don't see that every day.
Well, for Pambazoo, you see it every other day.
Every week, I would say, for that guy. He's a little different, constructed alternatively, I would say. Whoever laughed, I really appreciate you.
He clocks in, he puts in the maximum effort. Rice, though, Rice only 3 and 6, but one player from Los tucked underneath that bathroom window. Rice is hoping somebody peeks. He's thinking to himself, I could hit that shot. I could make that. But nobody bites, so Rice will instead move over to the library position as DarkZero, I imagine, will go for a bit more of a direct take. Gavini just sitting outside with those Rotero drones, looking to burn some utility either inside the site or outside. I was about to say, he's going, I was about to say, where is he going? He's going for the garage wall.
Oh, that's going to proc NJR to rush his way in. Nice little Selma here for Barstock. This makes that back room really difficult to play around. Cameraman does have a deployable shield here, so Los has thought this far ahead. Very well done by them. It's that impact EMP. Actually not needed. NJR instead able to just get that very straightforward with the Selma. Gonna have a mirror window up top here too, so a little bit of an interesting strategy boiling over from Los. We don't see this position adopted all that often, but it also means that they're gonna have some reinforcements off to Maya's left-hand side here. It's gonna be some castle barricades up top too. Doesn't look like we're gonna have anybody playing around the top fireplace hall balcony. Looks like it might just be all Maya on this one-man mission to hold down library.
It's a bit of a tight position, though. No nades on the board for DarkZero, but if those firebolts land and those magnets are burned, not a lot of room to maneuver. Pambazoo. E1D goes out. Refund on the opposite side! But Dash somehow comes away the victor of a fight he had no business winning. Important utility down for DarkZero, but that's your star performer on cam duty.
Dash has got to be counting his lucky stars right now. Pambazoo had him dead to rights. EE1D out, good information as well, but just couldn't hit the shots. Now, DarkZero with 40 seconds remaining have a lot of heavy lifting to do. A lot of energy headed towards this site as NJR work his way up blue. Some angles being adopted by Los, and do remember they still have that verticality upstairs. Maya's going to be able to use that to try and close this down.
But suddenly they find momentum. How have DarkZero found a way back in after a plant attempt that seemed not even possible? It certainly won't be now. Maya takes down Rice from above. The lack of verticality punishing DarkZero. Loben from around the corner puts Gavini back on the ground. Canadian recovered that diffuser at least, but this round is a long shot for DarkZero. They find this momentum, they try to regain, but Los still win the first defense.
It's a pendulum in between these two, Carter. DarkZero, they're on the receiving end of such. You think Pambazoo has that opening kill, it's quickly nipped in the bud. DarkZero have to try and figure out a way to work their way into sight, but the biggest thing is that they did not use that massive amount of utility that they had built up to try and handle that top floor, mostly because the positioning was not the same. You have that mirror window there, a lot of different positioning being taken up from low, so we had some players over on the office side too, and it just didn't really seem like something that DarkZero wanted to try and deal with. But as we saw, that was the biggest piece of the puzzle for Los. They were able to use that verticality, get that case cold on the ground, and make it really difficult for DarkZero to try and pick that one up.
Just a brutal gunfight dropped by Pamazoo right there. Had that man dead to rights. He had the pre-fire, everything set up with that EE1D. When it doesn't work, it punishes DarkZero for the rest of the round, especially that lack of vertical control. Los get an important win to retake that lead. Move up 4-3 and now defend the master bedroom and office bomb site. Another strat thrown the way of DarkZero. It was the mirror windows before, but now Dots has moved to the clash. And if you thought maybe Los trying to make the defense uncomfortable with a Monty was one thing, Dots is basically doing the same thing just to the attack this time.
You're more than likely going to see him focused around that office area. A lot of teams really like to try and take Library and across. We have a few that want to deal with Solarium every once in a while, and DarkZero, obviously a very solid squad, so they could always try and throw things over towards that north side, but it does look like they want to get this master window under wraps first. That clash, obviously, with legs as well. She can move right over there and start shocking things on the Solarium side, too. She's not stuck in the mud, so looks like Canadian is actually going to be considering this side as they found the soft spot of Los' setup. That's going to be a pick on the Dots, and yes, I'm in the same boat as you. How does Dots die with a shield in front of his face?
NJR just sitting on bedroom windows, the one that found him, too. It's not even like he juked him out or something. He was just sitting there and was like, all right, I killed the clash, I guess, guys. That's one difficult part of the defensive setup we no longer have to worry about. It's just the rest of it DarkZero now have to think. Those magnets and solar stairs can, of course, be difficult as DarkZero, with a utility-focused start to this round, are trying to work their way in. Track Stingers, Grimby's all going out. Destroying an important frost mount in the bathroom window, and Gavini finds an important kill onto Dash. Repel in now, but Dreadmine triggers it. Loban's able to pick up one, but DarkZero don't let them regain any ground. Right as Loban hops out, DarkZero immediately spot it. They've barely even progressed into the building, and yet they've put this round so close to the end. It's Cameraman again in the position he's found himself time and time again throughout stage 2. In a 1vx with no teammates to rely on, NJR begins and ends round 8 with 2 important kills to keep DarkZero in the game.
And DarkZero kill box the top floor, Carter. They don't even have to move into the building. In fact, the one man that we saw did was Rice, and he was immediately decapitated. As for the rest of DarkZero, they get a lot of really big picks, playing their angles, taking their time. That biggest piece being Dots going down on the shield. That cannot happen for Los. That's the biggest consideration to their strategy, and to have it swept under the rug so quickly is not something you ever want to happen on a top floor site like that. That's why we're gonna have Los head immediately to the basement as DarkZero have tied things up with round 8.
I'm at her side that you very much cannot necessarily turn into a kill box.
Oh, that's it right there. He was outside. He was trying to kill him outside.
You're kidding me?
Oh my God. That's a lot of hostile energy. Of all people to try and take that angle, you're going to give it to the person that doesn't even have a 1.5 on their gun, and also is the person that is intentionally put into your strategy to hold things down like Ego Balcony and be able to try and vet some of these windows.
5 seconds left.
I didn't know they build haters like that.
Oh no, man, you haven't met me before then.
I mean, he wanted that kill so badly. He's like, I'm Clash, I understand, but like, maybe I'm him. And well, he wasn't.
Silky Johnson, player hater's ball.
Loban.
Player hater of the year. Thank you very much.
Well, that's not Dots. He's 2-7 right now, unfortunately. Loban, though, on the other hand, solid 10-4 scoreline, but for DarkZero, NJR taking the fight to Panmazoo for highest fragger for DarkZero at the moment. One of the more passive players compared to Panmazoo's aggression. If you want anybody holding those cutoffs, holding those flanks, it is NJR. Where will he move this time? As DarkZero open up the snowmobile wall early on, but most teams do that as a matter of course on this basement bomb site, but usually rotate to wine later on while using the snowmobile breach has a point to cut off rotations for the defenders.
Yes, most definitely. But the big thing here for DarkZero in comparison to a lot of the strategies that we see for operator lineup when it comes to this site is that they do not have a lot of soft destruction. There's no ram in play. There's no buck here. Nobody has secondary breaching charges. It's all going to be up to more than likely Rice's soft destruction with that secondary super shorty if he so chooses. So for DarkZero, more than likely just going to be some mainline things. Get these breaches open, try and battle back a couple of Los members, but Canadian's going to lose his lunch first.
That's a C4 entrench. I have a feeling I know where that C4 came from, but we'll see if I'm proven correct by the end of the round. 4v5 now for DarkZero. The exothermic's down. It's a quiet death for them at this point as cameraman moves to take another gunfight with a player in West Main. Might not even need to, as it's only NJR left. Cuts down Dash, and a second is fed to him down the West Main stairs. Let's calm down, Los. Let's not start throwing away this advantage and feed the crowd even further. NJR has the diffuser. C4 goes out now. He has a minute to play with. A minute to pray they peek him, and once they do, his gun is not ready. 5-4 now for Los, slowly keeping their lead round by round.
DarkZero with no idea as to what was happening over in the kitchen trophy side. They hop inside a trophy window, give a big body over. Los with a more aggressive front than what we've seen on a couple of these rounds here, and it catches DarkZero completely off guard, especially for Canadian's sake, trying to work his way down into Trench Hall, like you said, and he's blown to smithereens, just trying to work a wall. Well, a lot of energy here from the crowd, trying to keep the DarkZero hopes alive, Carter. As it is going to be 5-4 for Los here, but still a lot of things to be done for Los. DarkZero, this is not a team that will be snuffed out. And as we all know, folks, does DarkZero love overtimes? And so does the crowd here. We all do. It's DZ staring down the barrel of potentially another one here on Chalet.
Might very well be the case if they keep fighting from behind like this, keep letting Los retake that lead. We're down to kitchen and dining. This is a bit of an odd lineup. You see any hard breach here, Sam?
There's not a hard breacher in sight, sir.
I don't know what they've got planned now. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, but we'll see if it pays off. No dining wall, no office wall. How are they going to go about this one? Well, with the Grimbees at least, they can flood Solar Stairs with intel, stop anybody from playing close on these windows. Their attacking strategy is going to be very tight, with no hard breaching to open up any of these angles. Loben, don't you do it.
If you guys don't know, you can't jump out those windows, so Loben is a little gate kept here on exactly how aggressive he can get. And that's just because if he did hop out those, he would instantly die as he hit the ground. So the game will not allow it, even though he more than likely wanted it. DarkZero are going to be allowed to chill out over on the Solarium side, and more than likely very happy about that. Dash is going to be able to read out a lot of the info game over, or rather, a lot of the utility game over here through his info as he spotted that air jab as well as Claymore for the run out on the garage side. This timer definitely going to be much more useful for Los in a situation like this, more so than it has been on more of the aggressive rounds we've seen.
Gavini at least makes it onto Solar Stairs intact. The DarkZero's very limited clear in the early round. It might keep Gavini safe, but it's certainly stifling them of control as all they have, the only bit, is this one stairwell with Loben fiercely wanting to retake this control. Final smoke canister goes out and he's shot through the wall, put down to reduced HP, but he hits the prone. A nade flies through, but it's not even close to Loben. Gavini, on the other hand, finally fights for something. Rice cuts down Dots' rotation. DarkZero have turned top floor into a kill box 2 times now.
And Gav and Rice have been fishing with a net with a hole in it so far, but finally they get something under their belt. Gonna be happy about that cameraman. Oh, folks. They're best friends right now, and they have no idea of each other. Cameraman Still gonna be able to slip through the cracks here. This might be a moment that's building up here for Cameraman, as West Main is going to be a very key moment for DarkZero to try and take control of.
1D goes out. Maya might very well retake control of the top floor. DarkZero, all they can do is push down through Trophy. Cameraman wins a big gunfight to keep the West Main position alive. Panbazoo retains their advantage, but this is not by any means an easy round for DarkZero, as Dash has all three of them lined up right now. One goes down, not the second, as NGR keeps it alive, but Maya's hitting the flank. He's retaken Solar. He's got intel on these players, but NGR reacts in time. Nobody can get ahead on Chalet.
Los on a moment-to-moment basis. They do everything that you would consider the right play on Chalet, Carter. They delay. They let that timer start to eat at DarkZero down to the point where all of them are stuck over on the trophy side, but they only have the one man in sight. The big rotation there from Maya, it gets him nothing. Absolutely nothing at all. DarkZero with a great idea in the dying moments of that round to bully out that last site player and find a home for that case. Los now allowing things to be tied up. And it wouldn't be a DarkZero game if we weren't sitting at 5-5.
It would not. But DarkZero, this entire map so far, have been fighting from behind, down 3-1 to end the half 3-3. And then Los winning round 7. Have forced DarkZero each and every time for 5 rounds now. Force them to only tie the score, not to take the lead. If you want a DarkZero regulation victory on Chalet, if you want that hope, they need to win this round. They need to win this round 11 attack if a 7-5 victory for DarkZero is even possible.
Well, we're gonna do it again, folks. There is not a single hard breacher across this entire lineup. This is one of the beauties of Chalet. There was a map back in the day. I'm sure a lot of you here are pretty big fans of it when it comes down to it. Coastline, we always talked about the fact that you really don't need hard breach. This is another one of those maps where, especially depending on the defensive setup, you don't really need all that much hard breach. What you really need is to be able to displace people. Frag grenades, bees, track stingers, things like this mean so much to the offensive perspective, and that's why DarkZero are leaning into this lineup.
Buying into it so completely. Utility all across the board. Dots, I have to imagine, by the way, probably not gonna, well, hold up. We put a shield away. This makes me nervous based on what we saw previously. Just to indicate the hacked Bravacam though, and he takes it back out, Rice downed. Probably doesn't even know where it happened. Loban just cuts him down completely. EE1D's gone, DarkZero time and time, round after round. Go for these solar stairs takes. But Los, I don't think are playing as aggressively as DarkZero thought. They might go for these big opening picks, but when it comes to this side, DarkZero have fought tooth and nail to try to push them out of these positions, and now with no freebie, NJR actually has to stare at that clash instead of doming her on off his balcony.
And this is what we expected of Dots last time. The capability of Clash is that she can slow down offensive plays, she can vet out positioning, make it to where a lot of these window players aren't going to feel as solid about what they're doing, but what a find from Gav! It's a Kobe all the way from Solarium Stairs that'll take out Dash instantaneously as it dawns his doorstep. Gav trying to push himself forward. We got a bathroom player here though. Loban misses his first volley, but finds the second, and he'll take down Gav as well.
A triple for Loban now, and maybe a fourth, depending on where Panbazoo decides to push from. NGR, the only one at full HP. He'll have to remove himself from the bedroom position as now in the 2v4. DarkZero need to progress forward, but a Frost Mat goes unchecked, and it puts Panbazoo. He's base. I was about to say, you're going to take it out? You're going to accept your fate, but on 1 HP. What else is there to do? Los seem to have match point in the bag. Panbazoo finds one, but that's all he'll get. 6-5 now achieved for Los. But DarkZero have fought from behind so often. Will they break here or will they continue?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've got one question for you. Are we going to overtime? Oh, hi, 2-0s. How are you doing?
Shout out.
Shout out. Everybody, please follow 2-0s on Twitter. She would really appreciate it. DarkZero facing down the barrel of a maximum regulation loss yet again, Carter. But again, as we've been referencing this entire time, it would not be a DarkZero game if we didn't reach this moment. DarkZero with their backs against the wall, looking to get us to overtime on their opponent's map pick here on Chalet. Now I will say this, it has most definitely not been a library in here, as we heard described by Loben before the game. A lot of back and forth in between these two rosters, but now we've reached the moment in time where nothing else matters except this round. DarkZero must win this in order to elongate Chalet.
He's feeding off that energy. 15-6 now. He loves it. He can't get enough of being the villain in this North American story. All Los need to do is do something they've not done this half up until this point. They just need to win 2 in a row. Just get this second round. That on the defensive side, they've had to give up a round in between before winning another. The C4 then might end DarkZero's hopes at overtime. It gets stuck on the rafters, and DarkZero, they might not know how close they could have come to destruction, but just a few bars in the ceiling allows that snowmobile wall to be breached.
The metal bars giveth, and the metal bars taketh away. This time it'll work into the favor of DarkZero as the stars start to align. Canadian back onto his most played operator in this entire event, Twitch, for his offensive side. Been seeing quite a bit of his solos popping up on that defensive end, but we have to get there first. Canadian's gonna roll this in. He's looking to try and eliminate a little bit of utility on this backside here. Still has 2 of these Twitch drones, and he's gonna be able to get rid of at least another Electro Claw now. And one of the Goyo canisters in fantastic time. You can see Dots constantly trying to hunt down this drone. Not something we usually get excited about, but what a moment here for Canadian as he's constantly playing this mini game, rolling back and forth under the table. Canadian, or rather Cameraman, gonna take a lot of damage over here on the Solarium stairs too.
An action for the 2 leaders on this team. Cameraman, the only one not getting success. There's not been a lot of fun for hard breachers moving to the wine wall, but NGR thankfully makes it past the trench stairway to open up this position. DarkZero have most of the control they want up until this point. The one thing they don't have, the one thing missing is that wine hatch. If it's not opened up, if it's in the control of the defense, then getting a bomb down in that position will be so difficult.
Just body language-wise, it makes sense for Dash. He has that mirror window over there inside of Kitchen, and the hatch is open here, Carter. DarkZero have got to vet this. You can see Cameraman reinforcing this position as well as he'll be playing from Kitchen. This all rests on what DarkZero can do with those 2 players on that mid floor, but you can see them starting to wrap. Pay attention to Canadian. He's the one with the bomb here. DarkZero, where are we going?
They've made the full rotation. They've recognized that low on time, they can't get that wine hatch. They've got to move through Snowmobile. Blue and the mirror window smoked off. There's no warden on the board for the defense, but they have to push in. They have to press forward. Gavini on the backside, cut down. But we lose it for the moment. Don't worry, we're back, folks. Stay tuned in because Rice just got a 2-piece that might save DarkZero. NGRC forward, Canadian comes alive. Cameraman down on the floor. Can Panmazoo cover? Can he keep it? No! Dash shuts him down! 2 rounds in a row for Los when they needed it to win their pick of Chalet.
And Los, battered and bruised, but not beaten here on Chalet. So tight-knit in between these 2 teams here. Panmazoo, just in a moment, he's able to take one more step into that garage links. There's probably a huge issue presented there, and we're more than likely going to overtime, but it's gonna be max regulation as Los takes it on their map pick.
And again, it is their map pick, do not worry. We might have Skyscraper lined up, but a very close call for DarkZero, as with that late rotation to Snowmobile, it was so close. Everything needed to go their way, and it almost did, Sam. It almost did, but Dash, that very player we highlighted early on, coming back into play at the end there to stop Canadian at the very end. Los take their map 7-5. We have the desk to break it down for you.
Lynx and Stokes, thank you so much. What a nail biter back and forth. That was so much fun to watch. Also, I gotta give credit where credit is due. You know, a lot of the things y'all predicted we saw played out. Loban? Seriously, turning up so well. We got to sing his praises off the top.
Yeah, Loban had a great game coming through. The entry game that he was able to present through those first couple of rounds, making a great start coming through from Los. They won those first 2 rounds. And as they have for many, many games before, DarkZero, they started that comeback. In the end, though, those second half rounds, it just felt way too much for DZ.
Yeah, I mean, to talk about those entry kills, they came away with 4 opening of those entry kills on the beginning of their attack and then closed it with 4 opening kills on those defensive rounds.
Yeah, we saw really good entries coming through at the very first half. I think that there was credit for DarkZero because they did adapt by the second quarter. We started seeing a lot more intel coming through from Canadian. We saw him jumping on the Pulse, jumping on the Solus. That fed intel to people like Pambazoo, people like NJR, and they started winning those roaming engagements. Unfortunately, it was only enough for a 3-3 split, and then when we got to that second half, it just got a little bit too close. We saw so many rounds going back and forth, and then the final round, man, my heart's still pumping from it. It ends up being a 1v2 clutch from Dash. We don't get to even see the full thing, but man, that was an insane ending.
I mean, it literally was a back and forth. They were figuring out what they were doing on each site, how they were going to approach it for the next time, what they were going to do this time, and it was just going back and forth, and you really saw the adaptations from both teams. There's nothing that each team can take away from this outside of they were playing a great game of Siege and figuring out what they needed to do in order to capitalize going into those next rounds.
And Canadians' intel has had a tremendous impact, but we were chatting about this a little bit earlier, Jesse. Lowe's played all 4 bomb sites. They were really keeping DZ on their toes.
I loved the site rotation coming through from Los on that second half. They started by playing all 4 sites in a row. They played Games, then Master, then Wine, then Kitchen. So they played all 4 sites. Then instead of going back to Games, which was the first bomb site they ran in round number 7, it was the first bomb site that they won, they go back to Master, a bomb site that they lost. And the reason they do that is because when they lost that bomb site, it was because they had a garbage death onto their clash right off the bat, and it started them on the wrong foot. When you take a look at that Game's defense, though, despite it working out, it was a really complex strategy with Mira and Castle, and they knew if they wanted to run that back, Canadian and DZ would be ready for it, and they would have an adaptation. They didn't even give them the chance to adapt.
I don't want to pick on anyone, but Gav certainly struggled. I think he was 0-6 by round 7. We just had our stats up there. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's not the typical performance that you see from Gav. And I know the type of Gav, the player that he is, he's not going to let that affect him. The team isn't, that's not going to let them affect how they play. He's going to go into this next one. He's going to finish as strong as he possibly can. It's just a hiccup. It happens. That's why you're on a 5-man team.
Yeah, I think that Gav, early rounds, struggling on those opening deaths to Loban, but I want to see him bounce back this next game, this next map.
Okay, well, talking about our next map, we're going to take a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Joshua Mills, and this is Siege Intels. Grenades. You love them, I love them, but why are they so heavily restricted on operators' loadouts? Their power, as well as the ability to cook them, have progressively made this secondary gadget the reason they choose an operator. In an effort to curb this powerhouse of utility and destruction, we have slowly over time removed grenades from our operator loadouts. We don't like that. If there's a tool in the game, you should have access to it. We are currently reworking their system to bring them in line with the other secondary gadgets in the game. Now connect to the reveal panel to see what this change entails.
We are Scars, this is Siege Snacks. アメリカ語化してないの？いや、そうそうそう。ありますか？甘い。デザート系がいい。スイーツ。お、うまそう。なんか絶対美味しい。パン系。甘そう。あ、これはうまいよ。これは大丈夫。これはうまい。いただきます。いただきます。うまい。マジでうまい。これうまいわ。何？大丈夫？ポイズン？ みんな酸っぱくない。大丈夫これ。大丈夫マックス。怖っ。賞味期限の見えてんの？僕ね。うまいよ。うまいよ。レモン系の風味あるよ。チョンチ？風系のある。ある。食べたことあるこれ。おお、ピーナッツやん。
普通バターみたいな。
パサパサやん。俺だけでかくない。いただきます。いただきます。ピーナッツポテトじゃね？ピーナッツ。うまい。ヤミー。
酸っぱくない。
なんか酸っぱい。酸っぱい。まあでも多分まあでも。
ピーナッツバタージェリーサンドですね。
イエスイエスイエスイエス。まあ全然5個中3個ぐらい。おお、うまそう。うまそう。これチーズタルトじゃん。シナモンっぽいね。
あ、シナモンだ。
いきます。いただきます。いただきます。
これどうやって食うの？
どうやって食うんだ？あ、くそ。いけたいけた。くそ。
あ、ちょっと。いただきます。
うまい。シナモンオンリータルト。
俺好きだよこれ。
ほんまに。
俺好きだよ。
いやシナモンだよ。チュロス多すぎる。
これがパンケンパイです。
パンケン？これキャラメルじゃねえよ。かぼちゃなの？かぼちゃじゃない。新しいねこれは。
俺好きだよこれ。
まあ俺も。いやいやし。
全然あったら食べる。じゃあ
食い。
俺こう。半分。シェイクライ。
ぜひアメリカに来たらパンプキンパイ食べてみてください。シーズン3個見てくれてありがとうございました。またメジャーでお会いしましょう。バイバイ。バイバイ。
Hi, I'm Christopher Budget, Associate Game Director on Siege. Siege is a tactical game, and while there's no better way to learn than the hard way, we're working on various tools to help you train and level up your game. Next season comes Map Run, and while you'll have to wait to know more, I can already tell you you'll be able to train on your favorite maps, such as Clubhouse, Oregon, Bank, Consulate, Chalet, and Cafe. Map Run will also be the best tool to help you learn the new map coming this season. And whether you're playing solo or with a squad, jump into Map Run and train your aim and your skills, and you'll learn the new map. Your friends will thank you when you reach champion. So stay tuned for the reveal and learn more about the new map coming to Rainbow Six Siege.
Hi, I'm Joshua Mills, and this is Siege Intels. Shields have the power fantasy to transform you into the bulwark of defense for your teammates throughout the round. They can also help you take map control, hold angles, keep your opponent's attention, all while opening up windows of opportunity for your teammates to make that perfect execution. The current systems of our Shield gameplay do not embody the player fantasy that we're trying to achieve. That's why we're reworking those systems and resetting the foundation of what it is to be a Shield operator and who can be one. It is and has been a long process. We want to change their use, but without breaking the current state of the game. And this is why we've decided to move this feature to a later date. But you can help refine this change in a special test server next season. More information will be shared at the reveal panel. Tune in.
Major. What did y'all think of that map 1?
Oh, I could definitely.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was some really impressive Siege. That was incredibly fun to watch, Laxi.
Yeah.
You're saying both teams playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping going into this next map, we see that the first map was a game of adaptations. I mean, you said it best. That one round, they went 4 sites. They then found this weakness and where DZ was struggling. They brought that mirror, they brought that castle, and that immediately turned the round for them. So it's a question of going into Skyscraper, where both teams haven't seen each other play on it in this format. But will it be still another game of adaptations?
Certainly, and I think that going into this map as well, one advantage that maybe DarkZero have over Los is last time we saw Los play 4 bomb sites, there's really only 3 good bomb sites on Skyscraper. Master Bedroom stinks. So I'm expecting there are going to be a little bit more room for adaptations from DarkZero. They might have a bit of a better chance when they get into that second half on attack.
And we were chatting earlier, not the hottest map for Los, right?
Certainly, the record for Los has been relatively weak, Jackie. We've got back-to-back plays to start Stage 2, way at the very beginning of Stage 2 in the BR6 League. They lost 7-0 to NIP, and then they lost 7-5 to Black Dragons. This is a map that they started banning more and more and more after the fact, because they knew, like, listen, we thought this was good at the very start of the stage, ended up not being a good map for them at all, and this is the first time we're seeing it back since those first 2 games of the stage.
And which, again, I said in the beginning of this, sure, it might not be strong in their region, but their setups, their strats, and anything that they could have changed because they haven't showed it in the Swiss format, there could be a big overhead that DZ isn't going to be prepared.
True.
So how's DarkZero going to bounce back here? Obviously this crowd, a little biased to DarkZero? Yes? Okay. You would think at the Atlanta Major, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that both teams are going to be coming in with some pre-prepared strategies. They're going to be coming in with a lot of surprises. This is not a map that either team, as you said, have shown so far. When we did last see it from DarkZero, it was a bit better for them. 2-1 record back in Stage 1, and then in the offseason, they won it as well in the Breaking Point Grand Finals. So this is a map that they have been comfortable on in the past, unlike for Los, but still, they're both coming in with loaded guns. They're both coming in with a lot of secrets that, of course, their enemies aren't going to be ready for. I was really impressed with both squads, what they pulled off on Chalet. For Los, a lot of those Castle Mirror strats that we saw, I think, caught DZ off guard. The question, again, is going to be, do you have enough strategies that you can use a strat after a strat after a strat, keep changing things up so that your opponent cannot adapt and counter that halfway through the game?
Yeah, I mean, what I really just want to see from both teams is still that adaptability. That's what's the fun thing about Siege. You can really see how just something can be swapped around, whether it's an operator, whether it's a reinforcement on a wall. Like, that's the beauty of Siege, is you can change so much about a map, and it can make the biggest difference.
Well, we shall see how map 2 plays out. Lynx and Stokes, take it away!
DarkZero down 1 map in their quarterfinal, and Los 1 map away from securing the 6th invitational spot. And of course, BDS, I'm sorry to say this, they would knock you out at home. But Sam, if you don't remember the Charlotte Major, everyone, when DarkZero played Team 1 in their quarterfinal, they were down 1 map. Atlanta, do you think they've got 2 more in them? Do you think DarkZero will win Skyscraper? Let's find out.
Well, my friend, here we go. It's Skyscraper, folks, and not only that, but DarkZero starts on the most volatile side of this map. I've talked to a lot of teams at this event, Lynx, and every single one of them, when it comes to Skyscraper, they always talk about how difficult it is to pick the map. Being the team to pick the map means that the other team gets to choose probably defense first. And defense is so easy on this map. I mean, a 5-1 half is nothing that is out of the cards for Los here. And DarkZero, well, they're going to lose the Monty, something that is a, hallmark of Canadians gameplay inside the ban phase. Dokkaebi also going to go to the wayside. We'll get into the defensive bans now. It's going to be Azami off the board to seal DarkZero's bans.
What I'm curious about, if Los will ban that Solus or not. We know how much DarkZero like to play it on the defense.
Nope.
But nope, Los will ban the Fenrir instead. Still a very logical ban, as those Dread Mines can make walking in through the tight angles and hallways of Skyscraper very, very difficult. And you mentioned how Skyscraper is a very defender-sided map, how teams are often reluctant to pick it, knowing their opponents will likely pick the defense. But when you think of some of the best teams in the world on Skyscraper, G2, for example, what they're known for is excellent attacking sides. If you can master the Skyscraper attack in any number of styles, but if you can make it something that you can reliably win, you become an unstoppable force on this map. So if DarkZero have done their prep work in the time during Stage 2 where they didn't play this map much, into Atlanta where they kept it in their back pocket, if they can win many rounds on this attack, they will have a great shot at sending us to map 3.
Located a bomb.
Okay, well, it's going to be an exhibition defense here for Los initially. We're 10 seconds away from DarkZero getting into this map, folks. Are you ready? Here we go. DarkZero. They're already going to be opening up this can of worms here, Lynx, and I really like this. Pambazoo is going to be bringing the Rooney, or rather Amaru, and when it comes down to this operator and her Gara hook, especially on this site in particular, there's a lot of different things you can do, but one very interesting prospect, it's this hatch down low.
That's exactly what Pambazoo's thinking about with this position. One defender already running out, though, trying to make sure DZ know more than anything that that balcony, that wall into the office will not be free control for DarkZero. They're not worried about it to start. Rice also over by the delivery entrance, looking to secure Pambazoo's entry down beneath the office hatch. And he's already made his way in. The site is relatively hollow at the moment, but a lot of defenders now rotating back. Los have a lot of their own presence on that T side.
Oh.
But
key thing here is that Los, a lot of the bodies over towards that west side, like you said, but none of them really playing actively inside of the site. We have Dash over on the house stairs, and we've got Loban in the tri-bar. This is completely feasible for DarkZero in the moment. They just need some extra tidbits, like that single panel breach, to go off without a hitch.
Pambazoo's not doing anything right now. DarkZero want to keep that element of surprise. They don't want to telegraph this play. It'll likely be paired with some element to distract the defenders up above. Maybe a nade, maybe somebody pushing in through museum or house. In this case, the breach might just be the candidate to turn eyes away from the office position and give DarkZero the entry they're looking for.
Pambazoo and Amaru going to stay lined up. And now, as we get a better look at this wall, there's actually going to be a mirror window that they built up here inside of Dry. This is going to make things really difficult for them. We have some smokes in the lineup? No, we do not. So that's going to make things even more difficult. Do still have some frag grenades and some other ways to be able to batter off that defender. But it's going to be a tall ask for DarkZero. And look at this timer, folks. It's just consistently dwindling. That's why DarkZero is immediately going to send it into the sky. They'll lose 2 bodies. But Pambazoo, he can't plant just yet. It's actually Canadian that has that. But all of Los on the board as they will flawlessly take out the offense to start round 1.
I mean, once we saw that mirror window and we saw how much DarkZero had invested in that strategy, it seemed that fate was inevitable should they stay the course with that mirror window watching the hatch. Loban behind it, who can do double duty, attacking the balcony, holding down office, and the other defenders playing around Shrine, playing around Terrace, all meant to support the site and make sure that if DarkZero tried to hit the opposite side, they had guns for that as well. It was a nice strat from DarkZero, and on another day it might have worked. But Los's plan, Los's game entirely, perfectly countered it.
And it's perfect because it goes to show you exactly what Laxing was talking about on the desk. Yes, this is an FPS title, but it comes down to strategy, and sometimes it comes down to well set up ideals, like this mirror window. They know that DarkZero likes to have some of these pocket strategies to be able to try and deal with moments like this. And Los, as you said, perfectly placed on everything, on every front. That mirror window especially giving DarkZero a lot of trouble as they did not have a true answer to it.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
So far for DarkZero, sometimes those positions that are just as simple as one player and some utility have been giving them a bit of trouble so far. When they get a second look, when they get another chance, another crack at it, They have a lot of success, but so far it's the initial gambit that DarkZero have struggled against Los in this best of 3. And Los keep them on their toes. Jesse mentioned the site rotation, how in map 1 it was meant to keep DarkZero guessing and keep them off balance. Normally the rotation here is T karaoke, exhibition to barbecue. Now it's exhibition down to barbecue, with T as a likely third if Los win this round.
And this is where attacker repick really stands tall. This is all onto Canadian as well as this roster to vet the map before they work into it. Gonna need some key moments here from them to be able to adjust that lineup properly. So hopefully they've rested on the proper things that they want to be able to try and take a site like this. We're gonna double up some claymores here for Gav. Always a smart idea when it comes down to it. Sometimes just not able to hit the flick when it matters most. End up losing your life on the hop out. So Gav going to prep that as Los has been more than willing to take it to their doorstep.
Cameraman holding down the door to the bomb site down below. The rest of the defense all on that top floor. The Frost, the only defender at the moment, actually around the bomb site on the same floor. It's another slow burn for DarkZero. Slowly beginning to make progress as we see some players joining Pamazoo in this position. And they recognize that Cameraman is quite alone down below. You can see Gavini holding down the top black stairs. While there isn't a lot of control on that top floor, the angles they're holding seem to work. But Maya fights back, cuts down Rice. They're trying to enable Gavini's push into black stairs with that smoke, but he's still stuck at the moment. Both the Lion and the Zofia outside these doorways and windows, and nobody from Los is moving. Not a single defender feels pressured. NJR finally finds one, but Loban walks back up in the site. Canadian with the surprise play. He's not even flustered. A 2v4 now for DarkZero. NJR, he's stuck on the window. 1v3 for Gavin. He's also in the bomb site. But 15 seconds after Canadian entered, it's a much different state of affairs.
He's got the ping on one, but that doesn't mean that he wins the fight. Gav immediately turns, tries to use that to its fullest advantage, but nobody on the restaurant stairs, and it's Cameraman to shut him down instead. Los with 2 really big rounds to start off on Skyscraper.
DarkZero have tried to make this strategy work consistently, just holding those outside rappels, taking down those defenders when they walk into their sight lines, and then moving into the bomb site, especially when there's players like Cameraman who are just alone anchoring that position. But on Chalet, it was inconsistent, and so far on Skyscraper, it has not worked 2 rounds in a row. Now they'll try it a 3rd time, or maybe revamp it as Los move to the 3rd bomb site, but it's been a dominant game for Los so far. DarkZero not acquiring any kills in that 1st round and barely even getting on the scoreboard or in the lobby for the 2nd.
Yeah, Los absurdly patient by their standards, first of all, and then to even push it further, DarkZero with really not the greatest read as to what was going on that top floor, especially with Canadian moving in there so quickly. There was nobody there to cover him. He's just stuck in behind the bar and barbecue. Really can't do too much there as nobody's there to try and help him. And not only that, but that crossbow of Capitao actually sticking up over the top of the table there too. It's a little info gave over to Los, and they quickly sweep that away, dropping the case inside the site. And from there, well, that's all she wrote. That's all you really needed for that script. Now round 3, Los looking for the perfect site rotation.
Looking to players like Loban and Maya as well to send them there, but it's really been a team game from Los so far. Loban might have top fragged by a wide margin last time, but I don't think you could say anybody on Los was necessarily dropping the ball on a consistent basis. Maya finds himself in the office position. This is often where, if the defender overstays their welcome, the attack might find an early pick. Gavini just opens up that wall with the skeleton key, then immediately drops away. First pick again going the way of Los. Pamazoo 0-3 so far. Loban having a monster performance in this best of 3 in the quarters with nobody from DarkZero. On Skyscraper at least, being able to fight these players gunfight for gunfight.
Now, Loban and Maya have been such an issue, and the other great thing to consider for Los is that Dash is also getting a lot done now. What a find, though, for NJR on the top floor. Dots feels like it's his world. He can walk wherever he wants to. He's immediately taken down by the 417 as his head is lost in the sky.
So far, though, DarkZero are running into the same problem. They're just giving away so much control to the defense. They're thinking about moving on to this middle floor, and they spot one for just a second. Enough bullets hit Cameraman that he'll certainly feel dissuaded from taking that gunfight. Loban picks up one onto Gavini, though, and hops back inside for cover. He's got 50 bullets, and he almost finds the third. I'll have to take the pause and reload for just a second. But Loban is winning a mental game right now as DarkZero feel they need to push this Solus, need to take care of this vertical control. But Loban lurks further into the building. Instead, it's Dash to be the second kill for DarkZero.
Oh, and JR, big moment for him. He'll be able to take down Loban. And as we know out of DarkZero, these first couple of rounds, very difficult for them, and Maya making it even harder now. Cameraman on very low HP. Maya will work his way back into T-Room. Although, Cameraman still down low. He has that Nitro cell. Might be something to try and consider, but they do still have another member of DZ here as well. Maya, he's going to be able to at least tag up NJR. This timer going to start giving them a little bit of an issue. Rice has got to find a home for this case. They continue to try and fight the two players in T as Cameraman has rejoined them, but he's actually over a drum. And what a moment for him. He'll get the case on the ground. And Maya, he'll shut down DarkZero. And it's a perfect site rotation here on Skyscraper.
DZ just not finding any momentum on this attacking side, even in that mid-round when they're able to find the Solus down below. It's very quick, it's a little haphazard, and DarkZero get that advantage, they get that 3v2, but every single attack so far, every single one, they have been focusing on places exterior to the site, and when they spend 2.5 minutes playing these mini-games, they find a site setup that is still completely intact. 3 rounds in now. DarkZero take their time out early once again. It bared fruit earlier, but it did not result in a map win. And here, when the defenses can be so strong on Skyscraper, DarkZero need to start winning a couple rounds if they want to still have a shot on map 2.
I mean, they need it right here, right now, Lynx. NJR has 3 kills, Gav and Canadian, the only ones that have any others, and they only have singular frags themselves. In fact, Maya has the same amount of kills as the entire roster of DarkZero, and not only that, but Pambazoo is nowhere to be found. He's the biggest piece to DarkZero's game plan when it comes to their offensive side especially, and they need him to return to the helm.
Whereas you have Loban and Maya, as you said, on the other side, they are performing so well at this point for Los, and for Maya, he didn't even need to do anything in that last round. He was sitting over on Office and Exhibition the entirety of that early defense, and where normally you'd see at least a little bit of pressure on that Office balcony or on the museum window, there was nothing. He was allowed to play in that spot the entirety of the round, so once DarkZero ended up getting the advantage, he simply rotated over and played the setup that's persisted since the beginning of that defense. Now Los have no choice but to start repeating bomb sites. They have to go back to Exhibition to start, and for DarkZero, that Amaru is nowhere to be found. I have to imagine they will likely go for a bit more of a standard full clear, or at least something more within the wheelhouse of Skyscraper.
Yes, most definitely. Gonna have somewhat of a line shift here. This is the same site we saw from Los in the first round, but not the same strategy. Loban feeling himself a bit here on the Warden. An operator that has been fantastic across the last couple years of Rainbow Six Siege. Not one you exactly see in a lot of these opening duels, but one that has a fantastic gun that we all love with that 1.5. Loban won't find anybody to try and punch a few holes in just yet, but more than likely find that down the line. As for DarkZero, though, solid considerations across the board here. I especially like Canadian working in this Capitao to try and deal with a couple of these players that are playing some hard positionings in sight of the physical site.
That's what you'd hope, at least. Thankfully, there's no projectile denial aside from that Aruni on the board for Los. Hopefully they can make it work. Again, DarkZero, they don't start on that top floor. They start on the middle instead. Try to clear out some positions below. Only 2 grenades for Rice. We'll try to go fishing later on in the round once they get intel on the site itself. Also with that secondary shotgun, can take down some mute jammers placed around the bomb site. While there might not be a mirror window, most are basically keeping a lot of the core positions intact from their previous defense. Just now, half the round gone, are they even a little bit starting to feel pressured?
No, in fact, Los is looking to get even more greedy with the round. That setup that they have going on that top floor, well, it's something that mimics the mirror window, but allows you to be a little bit more aggressive. Los, have they overplayed their hand? It's 2 bodies down now, Dots and Dash, but you still have to deal with Maya as well as Loben. Loben looking to take out any DarkZero member he can on this balcony while Maya holds down the stairwell. A little bit of damage dealt to him, but this timer, it's going to start to become a very serious problem for DarkZero as Cameraman takes down Rice.
Maya looking to maybe go for the retake later on. He just needs to control those house stairs as DarkZero move into an execute. Loben finds one. That's an important pick to stay alive, but also an equally important trade. That's not an advantage though. In fact, it's anything but. It's a triple kill for Cameraman to stop DarkZero's best round from gaining any more ground. NJR's pushed in, knows someone's on house, but Maya reacts in time. The timeout does not work as Los move up 4-0 on their opponent's pick.
Little flash photography out of Cameraman there. Some nice weapon work as he decimates DarkZero on the clear. DZ cannot step foot inside of Exhibition. That's 2 times in a row now. Somebody graces any part of that beautiful wood floor. Well, they're staining it with their blood. DarkZero down 4 rounds on this offensive side. And remember, folks, this is their map choice. This is just how Skyscraper goes.
It is how it goes, especially in North America. But when you go up 5v3, when you have that advantage, you don't want to lose it to a play like this. Cameraman going for a great flank down below. Knows Los need to start getting active. That sitting stagnant inside the site once DarkZero have droned them out is only going to service them. So he hits the flank, Maya repositions ever so slightly, and they shut down DarkZero's best chance at a round win so far this game. Los move back down to barbecue, repeating the same path we saw carved earlier in this defensive half. The adaptations have not stuck for DarkZero, and now, maybe in round 5 with the addition of that Ying, maybe it just will change.
And what an insane prospect that lies before us, folks. DarkZero staring down the barrel of 4 rounds. They must get one of these offenses under their belt inside of these next 2. If not, Los really looking to take this entire thing away from DZ in 2-0 fashion. And not only that, but remember this as well. If Los beat DarkZero, they punch their ticket to the 6th Invitational at Sao Paulo. And not only that, but they knock out the French powerhouse BDS. This match has huge ramifications on the line.
It's very rare that a team plays for 2 tournaments while playing a match in one. And while Los have found themselves in that position against a hostile crowd, they've used it as fuel for their fire. Maya 6-0 up until this point. Maybe not in the most aggressive of positions, but you can't say he's shaking on Skyscraper. Utility going in for DarkZero as they try to land the early bits of their clear. Take out those deployable shields, remove key bits of on-site utility, especially to clear the path for those Ying Candelas later in the round. But it's not going to matter much if you're letting players like Loben wreak havoc over your early round.
So many issues presented from DarkZero, and you can see they're stumped. They're stunted. They don't know which way to go. They've been keeping these plays so wide. A lot of these players have been more than able to be able to pick off DZ without any ramifications at all. And it's actually going to happen again. Pambazoo goes down to Cameraman. No refrag really available. NJR trying to work the window as best as he can, but these reinforcements are perfect. What a flick out of Rice, but Cameraman's gonna take down Canadian. Los in the driver's seat here on Skyscraper defense.
And they don't hit the brakes just yet. A triple kill for Loban and a round 5 for Los. He loves it. Are you not entertained, Atlanta? Because Los have come to play. 5-0 on DarkZero's pick. They certainly want to make it to Sao Paulo.
There is nothing more, Carter, that I love in esports than a good "I'll be your Huckleberry" moment. And that's what we got out of Loban. He stared down the eye of the tiger, and he's choking that damn thing out right now. DarkZero, they have to get this round, folks. DarkZero must win this offense. As Los, well, these defenses have looked so very stellar. Their decision-making paramount to all of their success. Constantly one step ahead of DarkZero, and Loban with a triple kill in that round. I mean, what is there more to say?
Nothing for us. It's on DarkZero to make the argument.
10 seconds to go.
539 days ago, they faced 3 of these same players in Charlotte. And while they went down map 1, map 2 was a dominant victory. Here, it's all Los. Every single one of these rounds, in probably one of the best series, if not one of the best maps we have seen from Los this entire stage, Brazil and Atlanta both. When they needed to show up, when their playstyle needed to work, Los have made it happen in this series. But DarkZero just need one to keep the dream alive. Just one to still have a chance on this next half. Just one more round to not feel like everything is going wrong.
Oh, Skeleton Key out. Good moment here to find Dots. There's still a lot more to get done, though, folks. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. The rest of Los have barely felt anything out of DarkZero. Maya, Cameraman, and Loban combining for an insane stat line right now. And with only the first minute down, there's still a lot of fighting to be had.
On that bottom floor too, but Dash up above knows that Black Stairs control. That push is gonna come from Panvazoo at some point in the round. It might not be now, it might be later, but he needs to keep watch. Loban down below, dodges the spot of that EE1D. But does Rice know he's so focused on these vertical grenades? If Loban can just keep himself hidden for a little longer, he might just get match point for Los. He'll back off, he's finally spotted. DarkZero no. Razor Bloom set up to stop the push from any of these attackers. But DarkZero, they've moved up Black Stairs.
It's gonna be a flood, it looks like, on this side. You can see that we have Gav over on the black balcony. Rice down low to make sure these rotations can't be successful, but there's 2 bodies to find. He's got a lot of heavy lifting to do, and it seems like they may know just about the area in which he is. He needed that kill, but it's gonna go the way of Los.
Panvazoo, NGR, and Kavini gotta pick this up. They've got the 3v3, make that an advantage. NGR on that window, he's so successful, but that C4 is anything but. DarkZero finally have found a home in the bomb site. Cameraman shooting the wrong position. He's got intel on this Geisha player though, and takes him down swiftly. A post plant now as Loban, down below for so long, has put it all onto Panvazoo to stop Los from getting match point. He sees one rotate, he gets that kill, but Loban works his way in, and he doesn't work! A flawless rotation for Los, as on North American soil, DarkZero are 1 round away from flying back home.
And yes, this might be the way of Skyscraper, folks. But damn it, is Los playing a good game. DarkZero, no matter what they do, no matter the advantages that they find, Los seem to be able to file it down to these moments where it's palpable for them. They're able to take full control. And now DarkZero, no timeouts, no saving grace, no ability to mess this up. It's gonna require 6 perfect rounds out of them, and it starts here on Office and Exhibition.
For DarkZero, as you said, there is no safety net at this point. Any single mistake, any slight misstep will leave SSG as the last man standing for North America's hopes at lifting that Atlanta trophy. For DarkZero, as they move to the defense, there is one way out. There is one way to make it back into this game. It begins with one defense and then another. But it needs to start now.
Lynx, I know I'm wearing all black today, but I really did not want to show up to North America's funeral. DarkZero, you have to give us some energy. This crowd needs it as well, as they're trying their damnedest to support you in this moment. Your back's against the wall. Your major hopes are on the line. And Los with the offensive side, they now get to dictate this pace. As you can see, Lobin already indoors, working his way in from the bathroom.
Los gives Lobin so much flexibility to work with. One drone and Nook to hide himself from those cams. He doesn't even go the way of it. He's focused instead on clearing out that delivery position. I mean, he's got 2 drones in front of him. Los are investing so much in the early round for Lobin to make sure he feels secure. And with those nades as well, he's not just a threat on the same floor. He's a threat to anyone above. And down below, the only other tenant of the first floor of Skyscraper is Canadian. Down below the bomb site to play for that C4, him and Lobin will very likely tussle at potentially one of the most important rounds for DarkZero in Atlanta.
Well, so far a bang-up job of clearing things over on the west-hand side, but now they have to come into contact with 2 of the hardest rooms to clear in this entire map. It's going to be Dragon as well as Terrace. They have Tachanka of all people in place here, but those fire nades are so very useful in the proper moments here. Canadian, all but unbeknownst to him, Lobin across the way, Pambazoo with a nice kill, but that frag grenade should give up the goods. Los are going to lose that initial body, and now DarkZero with the advantage.
Their position is still solid as well. Rice and Pambazoo holding down the Shrine position, keeping a key choke point in the cards for the defense and stopping Los's aggression. That final nade from Lobin is also looking to create a gap in their defense, somewhere inside of the site, inside of Museum. As you can see, NJR's accounted for that. He's sitting on the display case to dodge that very position. Everyone from DarkZero is afraid to move, but it's NJR's undoing. Dux finds him. He has to win this fight, and Gavin loses a key engagement. Pambazoo down 2. Are they going to leave it to SSG to keep NA alive? Rice has something to say about it. Canadian C4 goes wide. They need to find this kill, and it evades him. The IGL, the team captain, a nade with his name written on it, flies his way.
10 seconds left.
He moves forward, and Lobin cuts him down! Come back from the doldrums of Brazil! Los shock America by taking down North America's greatest and 7-0 on their own pick.
It may be North American soil, but Los are the most dominant people here to play as DarkZero lose 7-0 on their own map choice. And it just goes to show you how fickle of a monster Skyscraper can be, especially when it's your map choice, because you don't get to dictate those sides. And when you're going up against a team that is more than willing to be aggressive on a map like Skyscraper, 6 rounds, I don't care who the hell you are, that's always going to be a difficult thing to try and fight back from.
And for Los, DarkZero gave them so much freedom. They let Lobin play the game he wanted, let them all play the game they wanted with those strategies, and it ended up biting them. For Los as well, we said it at the beginning, this means 2 things. Los have qualified for invite in Sao Paulo, but BDS, because they lost to G2 earlier, we will not see them. We will not see Shaiko or Alems in Sao Paulo. Instead, it is Cameraman, Maya, Lobin, Dash, and Dots who have punched their ticket to Brazil, have punched their ticket to SI on their home soil.
What an insane year of Rainbow Six Siege it has been so far. in our biggest tournament of the entire year, BDS will not be there. This is one of those moments where you really wish it was in your hands, but it was up to DarkZero, and it was up to Los to falter, but they did anything but. An impressive skyscraper from them, and one that we will all remember for quite some time.
Especially in a tournament that has had very few 7-0s, for that to be your statement going into the semis, a team that many have written off as not a threat, not someone to be worried about. Los have made it to the semis, and well, they will play one of the two teams we have in our final best of three for today coming up after this. But hats off to Los, condolences to DarkZero, as North America, our last hope, our saving grace potentially, will be SSG right after this. But we have an interview with our victors. We have an interview for Los, who are, we can now say, attendees for the 6 Invitational.
Thank you very much. Yes, they are attendees for the 6 Invitational. We will get to that, but you will also be attending our semi-finals here in Atlanta. Loban, you just came over to me and you said, I told you. And that is because just before we got into this series, you said you would silence this crowd. It's not completely silent because you've got some fans over there.
I love these guys. I just love them. I don't have anything to say. Just all love to you guys.
It was all love for your performance, absolutely dominant. And on Skyscraper, we haven't seen you on that map for quite a while. Have you been practicing? Have you been, I mean, it looks like you were trying out some really new and cool things there.
We had some really bad results, but it was all about a bad day. So the map was still a good map for us. And we didn't even think they were gonna pick Skyscraper because it was a map they banned to a lot. So we was like, yo, if they wanna go there, let's go there. So yeah, it's a pretty comfortable map for us. When SI was one of the best maps. So we just had some bad results, but thank God we got it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And look, before you really started to take control of the series, the crowd was quite loud, well, very loud actually for DarkZero. How do you not let that affect you in a situation like this?
I don't know. For me, when I get to server, I don't really hear anything outside. I just focus on my game. I love to have fun and like trash talk and all that, but I just want to have fun. You know, I just want to win, and that's it. And I understand why they were screaming for them, but like.
I mean, it's a home city. Yeah. It happens, right? And you're going to experience that as well when you go to SI in Sao Paulo. You've made it. You've punched your ticket. How good does that feel?
It feels amazing. More than a month ago, we were one of the worst teams in Brazil. People were making fun of us, saying that we made a mistake bringing cameramen to the team, and we knew that it was like all bad results because of a bad day or bad performance of ourselves. And when we got our ideas together in a really good way, you know, I think we became the team that we are right now.
Well, it's working, that's for sure. Loban, congratulations and best of luck in the semi-finals. We'll let you go and join your teammates. A little pocket of Los fans over there, that's for sure. Bit of a shocking result for some, but for others, quite expected. Let's pick it apart with Jackie on the desk.
Thank you so much, Ian. That was a fantastic interview. I mean, Loban talking about their journey, the obstacles that they've overcome, and it's just been such a hard fought one. And they're going to SI in Brazil, no less. That has to feel so good for them.
Absolutely, especially after the stage that they've had. You know, they finished stage 1 with just 85 SI points. They come through, they had to get top 4. That's a tough thing to do at a major. They do it, they now sit at 385 over BDS, over every other team that was trying to get to the 6 Invitational. They've done so well. You gotta imagine they're feeling incredible, especially after the journey they've had to get here, because it was such a struggle at the start of the stage, and they've turned it around. They're a top 4 team in the world now.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate. When you clench that spot for SI, it is such a surreal feeling. It's a whole bunch of weight that's lifted off your shoulders. You're going to the main event, and then you're going to it in your own country, where you know you're gonna be backed by the crowd. You know you're gonna be a fan favorite. I mean, hats off to them. They put up a dominant performance in that last match.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, really quickly, Ian has an interview with Canadian. We're gonna listen in right now.
Thank you very much, Jackie. There are so many reasons to love and respect this man. his history, his heritage in this game, and his willingness to stand up here in front of the bright lights and this crowd one more time and do an interview after what will have been a really heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Thank you. But I mean, obviously devastated, but like I said to you, it's part of the job. Part of how this goes. It makes the good times better. Thank you guys.
You can't replicate that sound, can you?
No, not quite. Thank you guys. Thank you. Obviously, sorry for the result. I mean, obviously those guys played amazing.
It's part of your brand now, this man.
I know. They played amazing, and obviously they wanted it. Like they fought for every round. They came prepared, and you just got to tip your hat to that. I think the first map we came in, we played pretty good Siege. They were the better team, and obviously disappointed in the second map. I don't think we fought as hard as we could have, and that kind of stings for me. So yeah, I want to apologize for that. But thank you guys for the support. We could hear you the whole time. I love you guys too. Thank you very much. I love you guys so much.
You'll be back, right?
Oh, most certainly. I ain't a quitter.
Guys, one more time from this amazing crowd at Atlanta. Give it up for this man, Canadian. The fans love you, bro. Commiserations, and I'm looking forward to seeing you back in action very soon. Love that we give him that platform to sign things off here for this amazing home crowd. Jackie, back to you.
Ian, thank you so much. Amazing interview there. Devastating loss at home for DarkZero, but so much love for Canadian from this crowd. And just difficult to see that loss, but I do want to focus on Los a little bit more. You know what? They put in the work. We cannot take that away from them. The rework Skyscraper, the mirror placements, you want to do a whole deep dive for us.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, Jesse said it themselves. They had a very not great showing in their own region, but I said, they could have switched it up leading into this. They didn't play it during play-ins and playoffs, and you're looking at it here. I've never seen a mirror setup be played in gold like this that gives information all the way into Geisha, all the way into party, karaoke, whatever you want to call it. And then it forces the angles from DZ. They have to swing into crosses. They have to swing into each one of these angles. And Los played it beautifully. And that just goes into what I was saying. Like, they clearly did their homework. They clearly wanted to fix and bring something brand new, and they brought it to DZ.
Yeah, that's 100% right. That Castle Mira setup that we saw on Tea Room Karaoke, they saved it to round number 3. They were maybe hiding it. They were like, we don't have anything for Tea Karaoke. Oh my God, did they? They came around, they gave up Geisha. They castle barricaded off the doorway. They opened up some angles into it so they could fight players that were in there. They didn't even bother reinforcing the walls. And I thought it was really, really impressive how they had so many different strategies, so many cool ideas that they brought out. And DarkZero had no idea what to expect for any of them. It's so clear that Los put in a ton of work into Skyscraper throughout the last couple of weeks without showing it to anybody. They bring it out now onto this round and they dominate with it.
No, and it's got to feel good. The work that you put in has paid off. You have qualified for SI. Yeah. You have made semifinals here. And like you were saying, they had to fight hard to even get to this spot. But this is the thing, those little small rounds that you change or a big change, it can ultimately win you the game. Obviously, they didn't need that round specifically, but I mean, it helps. It helps nonetheless.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of the highlights too here. A lot of them are Loban. We got to talk about how crazy this guy is, right?
Loban, yes.
His entry stats, we talked about them heading into this. Loban had been, before this game, into 30 entry engagements and won 22 of them. That stat is going to explode after this game. Loban was so good on those entry frags, always roaming around the map, playing those Legion operators, playing ops where he can get kind of aggressive. It's one thing to come in with a really good set of strats. It's one thing to think, yes, we've absolutely won the map ban phase, but it's another thing to actually execute those strats. And we saw Loban and the rest of Los do that to a T. It didn't matter what DarkZero were running. Maybe they threw in an Amaru in there. Maybe they wanted a full clear map. Maybe they wanted a direct clear from below. It didn't matter. Whatever DarkZero threw at them, Loban was ready, Los were ready, and they absolutely shut it down.
No, Loban took that map pretty convincingly, even by himself. Sure, his teammates were there, but I mean, you look at that, 11-3. I mean, Cameraman, a huge step up from Cameraman from that last game. I mean, 100% cost. There's nothing more you could ask from an IGL to be putting in that much work, whether you're setting up Loban, whether you're setting up your team, just creating that success throughout all those rounds and having a swift 7-0 and ending it with 100% cost. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and talking about veteran Cameraman, earlier you were telling me that their play style lined up so well against DarkZero. Moving forward, are they going to see the same success?
I mean, it's going to be a tough one. Their opponent is either going to be FaZe, someone that they're used to playing, or playing a new team like SSG. But regardless of that, I mean, you just got to be proud you got through DZ. Now you got time to focus. You got time to rewatch a VOD, do what you got to do, get that prep. I think Cameron was right saying that their play style did play up against DZ's. Not necessarily a counter, but sometimes the team just has your number. And if you look at that map specifically, Los had their number.
That last map, certainly by the score line. What are you thinking, Jesse, moving forward for this team?
I think Los are looking great. I mean, obviously, every team, we say it always, you come here to get first. Yes. You want SI, obviously, that's the big goal. You want to be able to get that, but really, you're here for first place. And so for Los, they've got a whole another tournament ahead of them. They've still got 2 more teams for the semifinals and the grand finals. As you mentioned, it'll either be Space Station or FaZe Clan. That regional opponent in FaZe, that could be a tough one, because I do feel like they got a lot of surprises in against Space Station. Yeah. So often it felt like they were taking SSG off guard. FaZe Clan, they've likely scrimmed a ton. They've obviously played a ton throughout regulation matches from both stages 1 and 2. So that's going to be harder to catch them off guard. We'll see what the opponent ends up being. Maybe it'll be Space Station and they can run some more NA hopes into the ground. But for now, it feels like Los are feeling very, very good.
FaZe or SSG, that is our next matchup. So all of you watching at home, do not go anywhere. We got another exciting series ahead. See you soon.